As nurses gain knowledge and experience, we inherently begin to fill our toolboxes with tricks, tried and true methods, and assortment of skills from which we resort to when the need arises. However, there are those times when digging into the recesses of our brains, looking for that certain gizmo, that whatchamacallit, that thingamajig, that we find nothing but air. Mental health nurses are called upon to come up with imaginative and creative resources to inspire change. These stories bring to light our work and, along with it, the discovery of those doohickeys. Decades ago, and I mean many, many decades ago, inpatient psychiatric treatment rendered weeks, months, and sometimes even years long treatment. Matt arrived to our young adult unit in a catatonic state. Once a 6'8" high school all-state football hero with an adoring, although fractured family, he was the life of the party, never without a girlfriend, usually a cheerleader. But now he hardly moved any part of his body, including his bowels. And despite severe abdominal pain that comes with severe constipation, he held his stance for days, sometimes longer than that. The typical treatment used to address this condition rendered no results, none, zero, zilch. On at least one occasion, maybe more, we had to resort to manual methods, and I won't even go there. One day, after giving him a milk and molasses and a mayest, we actually thought that was creative back then, I was stood outside his bathroom door doing my usual encouraging routine. "You're causing yourself so much pain, Matt. Just let go." But the results were the same. Recalling his years as a football player, it occurred to me that maybe cheerleading might inspire him. "Matt, you can do it. You can do it. 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's see you defecate." Score! With some rah-rahs in between, I did my best version of a cheerleader, kicking my legs and jumping up and down. Other staff members heard the commotion, saw what I was doing, and joined in. And what do you know? Well, let's say we scored, and Matt, let's just say he went all the way to the end zone. Many of our young adult women self-mutilated, cutting their arms and legs with whatever implement they could find to lacerate themselves. Typically, our approach was not to respond with any reaction, actually a non-reaction, as to minimize what we called secondary gain of getting attention for self-harming. We would tend to the lacerations, clean the wounds, apply bandages, in more severe cases, taking them to the emergency department for suturing. One of my patients, Evie, was found to be cutting her forearm yet again using the end of a paperclip, rendering multiple bleeding scratches. I had escorted her to the treatment room and began the typical assessment and treatment process. But unlike most, Evie seemed to take an interest in how her wounds would be treated. "How are you going to clean it?" she asked. "Gee, I'm glad you're interested. You can assist me in taking care of your wounds." Here was her opportunity to reverse course, to be part of the healing, not just the hurting. I guided her through the process of assessing the wounds, cleaning, and then dressing the injured areas. In the days that followed, she would continue her own wound care, and even excited when seeing her arm, once lacerated, begin to heal. By changing her role, From a passive recipient of care, she began ownership and active participant in her wellness, in her recovery process. Evie helped us develop a new model for caring for those who self-harmed. Not all our creative efforts worked out so well. Leslie was studying art at a local college. He had a manic, mostly manic, depressive condition. And upon arriving to the unit, he would proudly announce, "I'm here for my annual tune-up." And that was pretty much the case, stopping his medications and sliding into a full-blown manic state, which led him back to the hospital frequently. On this admission, he begged us to let him continue his art projects while he was tuning up, as he called it. "I'll even take my meds," as if this was his bargaining chip. Wanting to support his creative juices and thinking that this was a productive avenue for his manic energy, we agreed to let him bring in his supplies. Little did we know that working with the combination of water and plaster of Paris, would he successfully cement the bathroom pipes in his room and all the other bathrooms below. Creativity in working with those experiencing mental health challenges requires a critical component to making the endeavors effective, and that is the active participation of those in our care. With their immediate feedback, we are able to refine our practices like polishing a fine new tool. Over the years, many of those special individuals contributed to keeping my toolbox full, and for that, I am forever grateful. Thank you.
Elaine, thank you so much for being a storyteller with us tonight. I love this set of stories and what ties them together. And I know that you have other stories like this as well along these lines. I've heard a few. Um, Here's my question for you. If
Okay.
you were to write a book or create a course based on case studies like this, what would you title that book or course and why?
Oh my God, you put me on the spot here, Neil. Sometimes people think of the word crazy as a bad word.
Mhm.
So, it comes to mind, but I don't think people would understand. Um, maybe in and out of all those years. Something.
Ooh, oh, that's intriguing. Yeah, I love that, and I love the lesson there of how much the active participation can really help in recovery. Super lesson for folks.
Absolutely.
Great, thank you, Elaine.
Thank you.